Hey everybody, Ty here. Hope everyone is doing well. Hard to believe we're already staring down Thanksgiving at this point, truthfully. I can't say it enough just how quickly this month and really this season has kind of passed at this point. So, obviously, we're doing an update today. We're going to be talking about the weather ahead here. There have been a few changes since then. We've been talking about this quite a bit as of late, especially with the big cool down that we're expecting over the deep south, and then the warm up that's going to be coming after the fact for the southeast as well. We do need to talk about more of the incidentals and the backlash that will be coming as a result of this. We're going to start to see an increase in winter weather and severe weather as a result. If we're looking at the winter weather right now, looking at this graph here, there's an increased risk now of heavy snow in several areas over the course of the next couple of weeks here. We're especially watching over towards the Rockies, especially towards Colorado, and of course the Great Lakes. This setup is going to be very conducive to lake effect snow, especially over towards the UP of Michigan. A little bit further off towards the south, towards areas like Detroit, it's going to be a little bit more variable, but there's still a slight risk over there. And then there's a large part of the Rocky Mountain Belt here that's going to see its fair share of action as well. I've already talked to you guys to death about the below average temperatures here. We're not expecting any changes with that, but if we actually go ahead and take a look at the SPC now, we have even a slight risk for today, and then we have a slight risk tomorrow, along with a marginal risk at Tuesday as well now. So with today's risk, the main threat is actually going to be hail. There is a non-zero wind and tornado threat to go along with this over towards Midland, Texas. It's going to be a very isolated event if anything of major significance were to even occur at all. Tomorrow, things get a little bit more interesting, much more widespread area. We do have a 5% tornado threat with this that stretches all the way from East Texas into parts of north central Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and even heading into parts of Mississippi. So if you're over towards the Mississippi Basin here, you're going to need to be watchful for all modes of severe weather throughout the course of the day. I do think the back half of the afternoon is probably going to be the most active point. By the time we get towards the evening, it could be begin to quiet down a bit, I would say. Then we have our marginal risk for Tuesday, which only is a further extension or continuation of the storms that we're expecting tomorrow. So we're even starting to include the Atlanta metro here. We're including Birmingham at this point, Mobile, New Orleans. We're starting to see you guys in there too, Jackson, Mississippi. So I would expect this to probably be maybe an earlier morning threat, and then getting into the early afternoon. By the time we get towards the back half of the day, I think things will start to really slow down from this point. From that point, we have the predictability tags too low for day 4, and then after that, we're kind of shifting back and forth because of the big push and cold air that's going to be coming in as we get towards the Thanksgiving holiday itself. So we go ahead and take a look at our weather models here. We have, of course, our comparison today, because especially in the first half of the run, of course, things are looking kind of uniform. We have our big troublemaker today, which is this trough right here. You can see it both reflected really well on the GFS and Euro models here. If we were to go ahead and move both of these forward, if I can get them to go, it looks like the Euro's starting to move finally. But either way, I'll probably just do this manually. If we get this to move forward here, this is where things really start to get interesting. It's going to be over towards the south of this exit region here where I would expect the best chance for showers and storms to occur. And the models again have been kind of back and forth with this. There might be a little bit of a shift up to the north with severe weather potential here because the GFS is showing a better signal and a little bit more in the way of activity over towards south central Arkansas now, which may omit some of the areas a little bit further off towards north central Louisiana. Make our comparison with the Euro, however, and what we'll notice is this kind of has more of that southern trend, but also the trough isn't holding up quite as well as what the GFS is. So this would lean into maybe more of a southern threat, but as a result, I think it will be a messier storm mode, A, and then B, also a weaker storm mode in general, because we need that lifting mechanism in this trough here to keep things going. The warm sector is probably going to end up staying pinched off pretty far to the south, which will help limit coverage further in either case here. And then if we were to go ahead and continue to move forward from that point, I would expect the line of storms along the frontal boundary again earlier in the day. By the time we get towards the afternoon, things are going to start to die down. And this is going to pretty much be a universal thing amongst both GFS and the Euro. Then with this trough that's going to be coming in after this point, you can see it highlighted really well in the Euro. GFS doesn't have it quite as deepened as of a trough as the Euro does, but either way, this is where our cold air is going to be coming from. It takes a little bit longer for this to progress in comparison. But either way, though, we're going to see a notable difference in our temperatures in Thanksgiving, even, of course, Thanksgiving Day itself. And then from that point and beyond, we're going to be putting more of our focus as to what's next here. This cold push is going to last all the way into December, so you do want to keep those jackets out for just a little bit here. There we go. We finally got these moving correctly. But you can see the troughing continuing to move through. We start to warm back up pretty quickly towards the southern states by the time we get into December, only for an even bigger trough to come in right around the very beginning. So if you're over towards the south, again, I've been saying it a lot, this is the type of season that will end up testing your immunity. So you do probably want to make sure that you have the proper amenities to help boost said immunity, because this is the type of season where you would get sick really fast. If you're towards the northern states, I would say the weather is going to be a little bit more consistent there. It does look like maybe towards that first week of December we start to level back out just a little bit, but a lot of that cold air is going to end up mainly being reserved over towards this region and up towards Canada particularly. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the short waves at 700 millibars. So we're going to go a little bit lower into the atmosphere and get a better idea as to what we're dealing with. So one thing about this time of year is we tend to have more in the way of high shear, low cape events. So the energy isn't quite as prominent or robust in this case. We really will have to pay attention more to these troughs in particular. This is mainly the calling card of late fall into early winter. Whatever we're lacking in energy, usually we end up making up for it in the way of wind shear. And of course, Monday being the most notable day and probably the biggest tornado threat here, again, whether it's the GFS, the Euro, I would say the GFS is a little bit more aggressive as of right now, but again, as I mentioned before, with the Euro, we tend to get those jumps a little bit later in the day too. It's just kind of a bias that I've noticed between these two models here. This is why you can't go with one versus the other. It's really good to look at both. But in either case, right now, I'd say the GFS scenario is probably leaning a little bit further towards the north, so don't be surprised that maybe by later today or early tomorrow that we would end up seeing a shift in the slight risk possibly. Still, it's kind of early to tell. The Euro could get on board with this or begin to deepen in its own right. So one thing about this time of year is that the weather itself, it shifts at the drop of a dime, and it's very hard to predict as a result of that. Let's go ahead and keep things moving here, and we'll look at Tuesday's threat. Not quite as prominent of a shortwave that pops up here, which is one of those big lifting mechanisms that we would need for these storms to really take off from this point. So I wouldn't expect any upgrades for Tuesday or anything like that. I would expect an earlier storm event, if anything. I don't really expect much to really come of it, but nonetheless, something else that I'm going to be watching relatively close because it also includes my area. And then from that point, severe weather threat is going to kind of taper off from there. So one other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to also pull up the low-level jet here, because with the 5% tornado threat, it does kind of pique my interest. I'm sure it piques a lot of other people's interest as well. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we have that locked in here too. Obviously, with the GFS being the more aggressive scenario of the two, we're going to actually take the Euro off the screen here in this case, only because the Euro's solution looks kind of trashy as of right now. I would expect far less in the way of severe weather from the Euro's outcome versus the GFS. Even so, it doesn't look like we have that peak low-level flow that we would need in order to get a tornado threat here. Like I said, I would probably favor southern Arkansas if anything. You could see a slight push maybe towards central Arkansas depending on the timing. But if the storms fire earlier, I would say that the southern mode is probably going to be the more favorable mode towards the central part of the state. We're probably going to end up losing the energy a little quicker. Because it's almost like you need it's almost like a combination plot. You need a little bit of everything coming together here. And then, of course, after that point, not much to really be concerned with. We'll also even go ahead and mess around, take a look at today. And again, it's kind of the same deal as tomorrow. In fact, it looks a little bit less impressive, but if there's going to be anything with a tornado threat here, we're kind of banking on this little pocket where we're getting into the 30 to 40 knot range with that. So let's go ahead and keep it moving here. We're going to actually do something different and take a look at the blend of models here to get a look at our temperatures. We're going to try to reduce the amount of combination plots that we do because hence the name, the blend of models. We're looking at everything pretty much all at once here. So let's go ahead and move this along here. And usually whenever we look at model comparisons, they're pretty identical for the most part. So for the temperature map here, we're going to take a swing and go with this for a change. So as we mentioned before, these first couple of days are going to be about the same as what we've been dealing with. It's going to be really towards the 25th and 26th where we start to see that cold air beginning to come in. Because if we look right now, you're just now really starting to see that cold air coming into the Rockies by the time we get into tomorrow. But this is the point where we get that big push beginning to occur. You're starting to even see some single-digit temperatures, maybe even sneaking into the equation by the time we get into Friday. And then as we go further along, by the time we get into next week, Tuesday in particular, we even have highs that are in the teens over towards the Dakotas here. Eventually even starting to see some potential lows reaching into the negatives by the time we get into mid next week as well, into about, well, not next week, about 10 days from now at this point. So heck of a start to December here. You definitely want to keep those jackets at hand, especially if you're further up towards the north. Towards the south, it's going to be kind of weird. Going to be a couple days of cold, and then before we know it, we'll be right back to business as usual over here. Coldest day for the south, it looks like for right now, seems like it would be probably Saturday from the looks of this. Now keep in mind things might change with the progression of that trough, so we might have to give that a day or two to see just exactly how it pans out, but there is some cold heading our way here. One other thing we're going to, of course, be looking at, and we're really just going to look at the first 48 hours, and it's going to be, of course, our severe weather potential with our cape here. Like I said, during this time of year, there's not an abundant amount of energy available. And this is kind of, again, why I'm a little bit on the fence with this, is because of the fact that if we look at the blend of models, we're not really seeing a lot of energy available towards that point where the wind shear is most favorable. We're leaning further towards the south. So we're kind of in a balancing act right here. There's a little bit of energy available, not a lot in the way of shear. Might have enough to overcome that and get something going. And then over here, we have plenty of shear and not enough energy. If we don't have any energy at all, these storms won't really progress into anything of significance here. If we were to switch back over to the GFS, which I guess we'll just go ahead and do that now. One thing that I've noticed in all the model runs is the energy just isn't there. So, like I said, it's kind of one of those variables where if we get any sort of uptrend from some of the convective models that are available, things do change over here towards the north. I would like I said, based off energy reading, I would really favor the southern mode towards north central Louisiana and maybe far southern parts of Arkansas. Maybe a little bit of evening activity could be possible over towards Mississippi. It does seem like there's a decent amount of energy available, but the timing just doesn't really seem to match up at this point. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at our precipitation forecast here, and then we'll also talk about snow a little bit further from that point. So we'll pull the Euro back up on the screen here. We're just going to put both of these in motion. It's going to be pretty slow here, but either way, Here is our storm mode for Tuesday here. It's kind of messy. It gets a little bit on the linear side as we get towards the back half of the day and on either scenario. I would say that, again, GFS still looks like the most impressive of the two in regards to severe weather potential. And then from that point, this is where we start to get that threat of the heavier snow beginning to come into play. Once this trough clears out, what we have to be watchful for these winds coming in from the north through the Great Lakes here. Those winds blowing in on those lake surfaces where the temperatures are going to be warmer than the air temperature. We get our lake effect snow machine going, and boom, we could end up getting some pretty big totals as a result of that. And then we have a pretty sizable storm that actually ends up popping up right around the 29th into the 30th that we'll keep an eye on. This warm sector off to the south may still yield potential for showers and thunderstorms, maybe even a little bit in the way of severe weather. But with this next push of cold air coming in too, this is starting to favor the Midwest, and again, the Great Lakes are coming back into the equation here by the time we get towards the beginning of December. So this is going to be an active storm track that we have for those first few days here. I do think we should keep a closer eye maybe towards the southern half of the Ohio Valley for maybe some winter storm potential as well. And another feature that kind of comes in over here towards the back half of this model run that almost wants to be like a little mock tropical system. I don't really want to latch onto that at this point because I wasn't really seeing it on the Euro either. So just a couple interesting features that we're going to be pointing out here with the GFS. During this time of year, though, GFS can be pretty wacky. So if we were to go ahead and shift our attention over to the Euro particularly, we'll go ahead and actually pause this and speed this up just a bit. We're not seeing quite as much in the way of activity starting out, but these do propagate after a while, and we end up seeing a little bit of a warmer sector, kind of a warmer scenario occurring, and maybe increased severe weather potential. But again, as I mentioned before, I haven't seen anything that looks remotely similar to what we've had with the GFS here in regards to that little low pressure feature that's popped up here, or that little mock tropical system that appeared at the end of this model run, which would have been like right here. So again, not really seeing a whole lot in the way of model agreement, so it kind of makes for a tougher forecast here. We're going to be probably updating this again sometime later this week to get a better idea of what we're dealing with here, because not a lot of clarity at this point. But I would at least at this point expect a couple of winter storms over towards the Midwest and probably over towards the Great Lakes between these first couple weeks of December here. With that in mind, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys very soon. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day.